Welcome to episode 3 in our mini-series of Why ERP Matters. Today we're going to talk about leading change and driving adoption across the enterprise. And I think in today's episode, we're going to drill into that a little bit more. Hello again, my name is Ralph Hess. I've been in this business for 35 years. I've seen a lot, all the way from client server, all the way to the latest of today's cloud ERP technologies, and how businesses can achieve success and really enhance their business by employing the latest technologies. So cloud ERP, or as we refer to it, transformation projects, really have 3 different elements where you want to help drive the adoption of the change into the organization. Clearly, there's a human side to things. As I express with my team daily, that people buy from people, people listen to people. People can say that AI is going to take over the world, but nobody's going to take very well AI telling them what to do, right? There's always got to be a human side, a human element to asking people and cajoling them and convincing them to buy into what the vision of the business is. So there is that human side. There's also leadership. And so as we take a look at a business, there's really the business leaders in finance, the CFO, operations, maybe the COO. Maybe there's a chief procurement officer who's minding all the supply chain and keeping track of what we buy and why we buy it and how we buy it. And then lastly, and oftentimes forgotten, is the chief human officer. That is the person in the organization responsible for taking care of the people. So as we look at the leadership of the organization, each one of those roles, no matter what they call them in your organization, needs to play a role in helping the company adopt the new processes, new transformational technologies, etc., that you're going to roll out. And then oftentimes we'll see that their projects will bog down. So sustaining momentum is extremely important. We've had projects where there's been a distraction in a project. We deal with a lot of high growth companies and there may be mergers and acquisitions type activity and we may find that we're in the middle of a cloud ERP project. We've got 9 months to get this done and all of a sudden the CEO says, nope, you know what, we're acquiring a new company. We need to put this project on hold and pay attention to the acquisition. Nothing will kill an ERP project more than that. Losing that momentum, what it does is 2 things. It distracts people. You lose the momentum of what you were doing. And then it's a message to the organization that the cloud ERP project isn't the top priority. So in terms of sustaining momentum, making sure that your leadership is in line, and then that leadership has to be dealing effectively with all the human elements of the ERP project as well. So those are really those 3 key things, right? The human side, leadership, and sustaining momentum. Let's take a look at why ERP projects fail to achieve full adoption. You know, we talked in our roadmap that we needed to be able to effectively communicate the why of the project. And the why of the project, again, is aligning that vision, understanding the outcomes. We need to really have an effective communication strategy within the project. Not just that, you know, Johnny CEO or Sally CEO wants this shiny new toy and, you know, all his or her friends are doing it with their businesses. But there's a reason for the business that needs to be clearly and effectively communicated. So that's one reason why you don't achieve the full adoption. The other thing is a lack of leadership. We talked again about the fact that the leaders of the company have to be as bought in, if not more bought in, than the actual people executing on the project. And then as we take a look at it, not everybody in the business is going to be involved in the actual implementation. So the people that are involved in the implementation need to be good stewards and good evangelists of the project as well. So I guess what it all comes down to is effective communication on a very human level is extremely important in helping the organization achieve the adoption by all of the users in the user community. And then sustaining momentum, as we take a look at it, momentum is key. What we want to do with projects is achieve success as quickly as possible. It doesn't mean we take shortcuts. It just means that we have the good project management. We're executing on time. People are seeing progress. When they see progress, they will buy in even further and work even harder to be able to continue the success and the momentum of the project itself. So driving that adoption it has a lot of different elements, doesn't it? We've got having people involved and communicating effectively. That just doesn't mean we put out a project newsletter. That means we have stand-ups and huddles explaining where the project's at. the benefits of the project, celebrating the small successes inside of a project so that the human element is staying engaged in the project. And they need to see that not just from frontline management. They need to see the executive leadership walking the walk and talking the talk in terms of the project itself. So if you're able to achieve all of that, good leadership, effective communication, human communication, not just digital communication, you're going to have people buy into what you're trying to achieve and achieve a much deeper level of adoption for going forward. And so going forward is another element of driving adoption. In our last episode, we talked about having that vision in mind. You can't eat the 800-pound elephant all at once. You need to do it once, one element at a time. So oftentimes the project is really a continuum. You have an initial go live, and then you have your next set of objectives. And so the project team stays in place oftentimes to continue to implement the next level of innovation that you're looking for. And I'm sure as one of my episodes coming up, we're going to talk about what does this all add up to. Stick with us, folks. It's all about getting to AI, having ways in which AI can be meaningful to the business. And no, it's not going to take everybody's jobs, but it's going to take over the mundane tasks and processes that people don't enjoy in the first place and allow them to use their brain in more creative and higher value ways. So hopefully you've taken a few nuggets away from this particular episode about driving adoption across the enterprise. Listen, you're not going to have a successful project. I don't care if it's an ERP project, an accounting project, a sales project. If the people aren't buying in, they're not going to be able to adopt what you're trying to accomplish and make the business succeed in a way that you're looking for. So stay tuned for episode 4, where we continue to build on this theme of a roadmap, driving adoption, and really having good processes and good data in your organization so that you can turn all of that into a strategic asset. In the next episode, we're going to talk about just that. How can data become a strategic asset for your business?